Christ's Letters. Continuation of Letter 4. When men and women are nearing an equal balance of male and female natures within themselves, their task in life is to transcend their sexual drive through achieving unconditional love for all people and directing the drive itself into pure creativity, such as the arts. Of such people are masters made, masters of themselves, masters of creativity, masters of human consciousness, masters of matter. Unfortunately, at this present time, your men and women who are nearing equal balance of male, female natures within their one nature have no guideposts as to what their true goals should be. They have lost their way and have created a spurious society amongst themselves in which the joy and personal fulfillment they seek is negated by their preoccupation with bodily functions rather than with spiritual achievements. They will remain unhappy people, torn with conflicts, until they discover the truth regarding who they really are. In speaking about the feminine role in life, it must also be said that many of your modern women in developed countries have achieved a high degree of masculine drive in the past 100 years. They must choose their priorities in life carefully. They do not have to sit at home, stagnant and bored, but they will become happier, more fulfilled people if they turn their intelligence and abilities to creating new modes of constructive life for the whole family. At the moment, they may not know how to do this, but meditation will draw into their minds the necessary inspiration on the best way to use their powers of leadership and talents for the happiness of all. Men who have developed greater capacity for empathy with women and their fellow men will also, through meditation followed by inspiration, find higher ways of expressing their capacity for leadership in their work, bringing happiness to others. Why have we, dealt with the matter of the sexes in such depth? This has been absolutely necessary since the battle of the sexes, both in the East and West, is creating unhealthy conditions on earth. It fosters aggression and festers as anger and hostility. Sexual freedom has brought the world to a crisis point of extinction by the impregnation of AIDS. All viruses are created within destructive consciousness forces. Number 8. Human beings have created their own viruses. You must understand that human beings have created their own viruses. Every virus is a destructive living consciousness impulse made visible. It targets what the impulse of destructive consciousness targeted at the moment the virus took on form. I was very clear about this aspect of existence when I was on earth in the persona of Jesus. The Jews had a rigid tradition of washing cups before drinking from them. I told them explicitly that they should not be worried about what went into their mouths. They should be concerned about what came out of their minds and hearts, then out through their mouths. At that time, science had not discovered the presence of viruses, but it was agreed that disease came from eating and drinking from dirty utensils. But I knew that the disease had originally come out of the minds and hearts of savagely angry people. Thereafter, it was propagated by the division of cells, but it carried within itself forever the instinct and consciousness which initially brought it into being. AIDS has been no accident. It has emerged from the consciousness forces of self-indulgence and destructive emotional reactions between sexual partners. Submerged hatred and anger can drive people into a sexual act, leaving a residue of sickness behind it in mind, emotions, and body. Because emotional attunement has not always motivated the sexual act between men and women, they have known severe disappointment and lack of release and fulfillment. When this happens, the male sexual energy dwindles. It has to be rekindled by images of sexual perversions. As a result, pornography has become big business in some countries. It panders to the body instincts alone. Out of pornography have come a lack of respect for women and a mechanical, non-emotional sexual act, together with rapidly increasing rape and child sexual abuse. People giving way to these abominable acts of depraved cruelty will surely reap the consequences, either in this life or a future incarnation. Therefore, when followers of Islam condemn the West for their lax sexual behavior and perversion, they are right to believe that it is bringing down unhealthy conditions on earth. These unhealthy conditions are not sent by Allah, but are a natural consequence of their breaking the laws of existence. Similarly, the followers of Islam are breaking the laws of existence because they, like the Jews, hold to the tradition of an eye for an eye and believe that there is such a thing as a holy war. There is no such thing as a holy war. There is only the reality of holy forgiveness and holy reconciliation. Treating your brother, be he your friend or enemy, with love and understanding. None of you may break the laws of existence and hope that you may enter into the kingdom of heaven or paradise. Your behavior has no place beyond the mayhem you are presently bringing on yourselves. We will leave you with these thoughts, which we beg you will receive deeply into your consciousness and make good use of them in your daily lives. We strongly urge you to band together, irrespective of religious beliefs, in small groups to use the letters as guidelines for your daily lives. Shed, if you can, your conditioning and come together in true humility as people willing to agree they know little of true spirituality, but are strongly desirous of learning how to enhance and spiritualize their lives. As many of you are aware, you are entering a new phase of world history, during the course of which it will be realized that no longer is the great divide between the wealthy and the poor. The great divide will be in consciousness. The divide will be between those who have been able to find entrance into the higher spiritual consciousness and radiate love and acceptance equally to all, friends and foes, and who make it their goal to radiate divine consciousness into every facet of their daily lives, and those who remain encased within their ego drives, seeking domination of the weak. They may appear to succeed for a while, but eventually they will fail, and their suffering in their self-created darkness will be great. These letters will be the means of your moving out of darkness into light. As you seek to raise your frequencies of spiritual consciousness through radiating love to all unconditionally, so will you be going through a slow ascension in consciousness which will dynamically affect your physical health and your earthly conditions. On you brave people will rest the upliftment of world consciousness. You will emerge from the coming conflict, strong and purposeful, and will proceed to build another type of world consciousness. You will introduce the beginning of spiritual and technical and economic progress and world peace for centuries to come. I, the Christ, have spoken. We, the Brotherhood of Masters, speak to Christians, Muslims, Buddhists, Jews, Hindus, Sufis, and to every religious persuasion of the world. You are all encompassed in our love. Believe this, for this is true. Christ's letter 5, originally numbered 4.a. In this letter, Christ begins to explain the true process of creation. He touches on what science and religious doctrines have believed, rejects them, and defines the truth of being. He touches on the truth regarding the human ego, the means of earthly individuality and therefore necessary, but also the source of all suffering. Number 1. The New Testament is not to be trusted, accepted, or believed. I, the Christ, am writing this letter 5 to clearly define the hidden reality, which I will also refer to as the universal and divine, to help you stretch your minds to understand that whilst you are an individual, that which has given you being and individuality is itself universal, eternal, infinite, everywhere without beginning or end. For the sake of those people who have chosen to read letter 5 before my earlier letters describing my life and true teachings on earth, I will make a further statement that my true Jesus Christ self must not in any way be confused with the Jesus recorded in the New Testament. Since my original teachings, in the form of the four Gospels, have been distributed worldwide and grossly misinterpreted, it is my intention to begin teaching the truth of existence by explaining the true meaning of my original terminology as quoted in the Gospels. This is necessary to dispel and eventually eradicate from people's consciousness the misunderstandings which have persisted and misinformed generations of spiritual seekers since my life on earth. When on earth, to describe the reality behind and within existence, I deliberately coined the term the Father when referring to God. This was done for two reasons. Firstly, as I explained in letter 1, when I received enlightenment in the desert, I was enabled to see that the concepts describing the Creator of the universe as revealed by the Jewish prophets were completely wrong. Secondly, I was given to perceive clearly and fully understand the true nature of the Creator, and I realized that it was a nature of parenting, of fulfilling the needs of creation in clear-cut, specific ways which were synonymous with those of a father-mother. Indeed, I saw that the parenting impulses present in all living creatures had been drawn directly from the Creator, and that the origin of all love and parenting drives was also the origin of life and existence itself. I also saw that creation was a visible manifestation of the universal creative impulses of being, and therefore humankind could be termed the offspring of the Creator. For this reason, it was quite natural for me to speak of the Father when referring to the Creator, since, to me, this is what the Creator truly is in every way. More especially, father-mother, but having regard to the Jewish insistence on the woman occupying a subordinate position in their daily lives, I referred only to the Father, to avoid Jewish resistance and to gain acceptance of the new terminology. I also coined the term the Father to help the Jews realize that their concept of Jehovah and the rigidity of Jewish laws were totally erroneous. Also, by using a new terminology, the Father, to describe the Creator, the creative impulse behind and within existence, I made it clear I had brought an altogether new teaching in opposition to the accepted belief in a God which rejected certain people and sent disasters upon them as retribution. I want you to understand fully that nowhere has it been made clear in your New Testament that I brought a teaching completely opposed to the teachings in the Old Testament, and therefore the New Testament, as a true record of my life and teachings, cannot be trusted or accepted or believed. That's it for today. Thank you. I love you. God bless you. See you